This movie contains a series of scuba diving highlights from our trip to Grand Cayman in February of 2025. This shot is from the Kittiwake dive, which is a wreck dive on the west end of Grand Cayman, which was my favorite dive. The dives at Grand Cayman in generally weren't my favorite because they focus a lot on the terrain and didn't have a lot of wildlife, which is my preference. There are a lot of swim-throughs through either short caves or tunnels or steep canyons like we see here. We dove based out of a dive resort on the east end with a scuba company called Ocean Frontiers, which were very professional and I couldn't recommend highly enough. I'll try to put a shot or two of some wildlife or some interesting formations in between these swim-throughs, because there were a lot of swim-throughs, which made Amy and Colleen very happy because the swim-throughs were their favorites. This was a nice long swim through, which earned a fist bump from Colleen. This is an invasive lionfish, and we did see a couple on the reef, They do hunt them, but it's difficult because bringing a spear gun into Grand Cayman is very regulated. This is a flamingo tongue nudibranch that Amy liked. It's not a great picture, but she is always looking for these. We did a X dive with the Ocean Frontiers Scuba Company, which was a shark dive, and so this was a group of 4 or 5 black-tipped Caribbean reef sharks. These are all females that hung around these dive sites, and it was a very nice dive. This is a cowfish. Looks a lot like a puffer, but it doesn't have the spines and doesn't blow up. I pointed these little guys out. This called it a stickfish. There's a bunch of them around. They're very small. We're halfway through, so it's time for a little dance interlude. This is Amy and Colleen with Mike off to the side, hovering underneath the dive boat, doing their 3-minute safety stop before surfacing. I was lucky enough to catch this small school of squid, which is one of my favorites. Here's Amy following Colleen into one of the swim-throughs. This was one of the early swim-throughs that we did, and I'm going to break off during this swim through and go up and follow them from the surface because the swim through dropped down to about 100 feet, and I really suck up the air at that depth, and I didn't want to shorten the dive. You can see I'm tracking Mike down below as they go through the swim through, and then I'm about to come up where the swim through changes from a very narrow valley or crack into a tunnel, so I have to bounce up over the reef and pick them up on the other side. This was another swim through that was nice and long and was one of their favorite. It finishes up with a tunnel that was named, I guess, by an EMT, and they call it the throat. This starts the portion of the swim through that they call the throat. The cute little grouper that's just hanging out with his mouth open. This is just another shot of the dive boat and the process for taking your fins off and then boarding the boat via the ladder, which can be a little rough in the high seas because the winds were making the water quite rough. There was also a tsunami warning from a earthquake down in the Cayman Trench while we were there, but we didn't feel it. And we saw another shark. This is a male that they call one of the Bash brothers on one of our last dives.